There are major developments in the extradition case of WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange. He will be extradited to the U.S., where he faces spying charges.
We find it, your Australian friends find it extraordinary that the country that gave the world freedom of the press, enshrined in its constitution in the First Amendment, today brought that freedom to an end. It's over. For a publisher to be extradited to the United States, charged under the Espionage Act, oppresses all publishers, all journalists everywhere. So we find it a bit shameful that the United Kingdom has conspired in this process to bring an end to freedom of the press with the Department of Justice of the United States. It's regretful. Adding to that, Australian citizen Julian Assange, extradited to the United States, we have heard nothing from the Australian High Commission in London, and the US Embassy, the Australian US Embassy, has made no statement for this tragic end to an Australian citizen, a publisher, a journalist, and finally to freedom of the press.
There is a great chance of stopping this extradition. We have great support among the European nations. This will go to the European Court of Human Rights after it's been to the High Court in the UK. There are parliamentary groups, support groups all across Europe. Jean-Luc Mélenchon today said that if he is made Prime Minister of France on Monday, that he will make Julian a French citizen and give him French honours. So there is great support in Europe, and I think European Court of Human Rights will stand up for the principles in this case, which is press freedom, the right to do journalism. And so we are feeling very, very confident that we will win at some stage.
Could I add to that support that's in every parliament, every single parliament in Europe? There's not one that doesn't have parliamentarians supporting the non-extradition of Julian Assange to the United States to be thrown into a maximum security prison and disappear forever. Not one. In South America, it's the same. President Obrador of Mexico makes firm statements of the strongest sort that Julian ought to be free. I'll repeat that. Every European nation, its parliament, has supporters for Julian Assange. Every nation in South America, led by President of Mexico, Obrador, has support in their parliaments for Julian Assange. This indicates massive worldwide support amongst peoples, because the parliamentarians represent, for the most part, in this case, the will of peoples. Thank you.
I spoke to him about 45 minutes ago, and he had just learned about the decision about an hour and a half after, 2 hours after everyone else, and he was very anxious last night when I spoke to him as well. He didn't sleep all night, and it's extremely stressful. Even though you prepare yourself for the worst, it's still extremely stressful. But he is, we were preparing for this situation, and our fighting spirits are even stronger than before. And Julian is ready to appeal this decision and fight on. Well, it's extremely difficult, but fighting is what we do. We'll fight until he's free. There's no other way about this than to fight on. I don't know. I love him. I want him to be free, and most of the rest of the world also wants him to be free. So there's a lot of support, and he feels the love and support. And I'm always telling him about all the initiatives that are being taken. The Council of Europe Human Rights Commissioner and the OSCE, they've written to Priti Patel asking her not to extradite, and she's ignored those initiatives. Well, this is a political case, and as such, it really depends on the politics of the situation. The way they're conducting this case is in grave violations of very basic, fundamental democratic rights. Julian did nothing wrong. He published evidence of war crimes and of criminality committed by a state. He received that information from a source, and it was in the public interest. He should not be in prison. He did nothing wrong. It is the public interest, the public's right to know, that is being criminalized. So if this goes ahead, then that's just a fundamental shift in the type of government and the type of society that we live in. We don't live in a democracy anymore, and there is no press freedom.